Okay, hello. So we're back at it again for Vinland Saga, episode 2. Now, before I really get into the meat of this episode, just let me say fair warning. I'm probably going to be repeating a lot of the same things I said in the last review. That's just because of the nature of this arc. It's really slow. There's a lot of good characterization, so I'll probably be repeating those lines very often. In the next maybe 4, 2, 3 episodes, I'm assuming by like the fourth episode, the meat of the arc is really going to start picking up because really we're like the pacing is very slow. That's just I enjoyed it. Like I said in the last one, I enjoy the very slow pacing. I like our arc to really flesh out our characters and their motivations so far, and this is like the best arc to do it in and of itself because of just the dramatic change in the story since season one. So let's really get into the episode now. So from the last episode, it was really just about introducing us to Einar and what he was up to. We get his little flashback and what's going on with him. Now Einar is firmly in this new village area with Thorfinn. Thorfinn is now a mainstay character. He wasn't really in the first episode, but now we're getting back introduced to Thorfinn, and you can see it is a dramatic change. Thorfinn is no longer this jaded out fucking little kid looking for the revenge of Askeladd. Obviously, Askeladd's dead. Now, I don't want to get too heavy into spoilers. I will say that you can very much see in this episode that Thorfinn is just sort of broken. I won't go too deep into like what that means and the implications about like what Thorfinn's thinking. Like we don't really see that in this episode. We're gonna get that later, you do see like a little bit. And I mean broken by like both mentally and physically. There is one scene when you see him correct, massaging his shoulder. Possible injury there. What happened there? I don't know. Anyway, that's all right. We get to see that. We get to see Einar and Thorfinn team up. Basically, Thorfinn showing him the ropes as a slave is what you do. It is basically his job. Now, this is important because we get to see, like, from our master. Now, I forget his name, his whole name. We're just going to call him Master because everyone on this, village area calls him Master. So it's fine. I'm going to call him Master. So the Master, this is like the ultimate goal of what everyone's doing. Obviously, because it's the Master's goal, and then everyone, corrals over him because he is the Master. So he controls everyone tangentially. But that's all right. So the Master's goal is essentially to create, a giant village. He wants to create his own personal farmland and grow crops there, sell the crops, get all these people here on this place, grow this village. He's in the master, even though he is a slave owner. He is a nice guy. Can we say that? Obviously I don't agree with slavery, but the master like does it in a different way than we've seen in say the previous season or just like what we know from history. Not saying it's good, but the master himself, he allows his slaves to make money, which is something you don't normally see. He doesn't like regularly flog the slaves. I mean, if your slave was like running away or doing something bad or threatening to kill someone, I would assume there'd be like some sort of punishment. I don't exactly remember from the manga if that happens, but we're gonna get like deep into like the slave master's deal and his psyche. How did he get where did he get all this money from and these resources to get all these people together? We're gonna find out like what his entire deal is about. But we're really just building him up, and in the master himself, he actually works with his slaves personally. He gets out there and he tills the crops along with his slaves, and he's very friendly. He's a very friendly man. He's just a friendly guy, even though he's put all these people in slavery. But anyway, this is just the ultimate goal. And Einar and Thorfinn's task specifically is to clear out this entire forest. Obviously, Einar and Thorfinn are only two people. There's literally just the two of them clearing out this like one section of forest, and it is massive. It is a titanic task for two people to do, and it's going to take a lot of time. But the master's offering them a deal like, hey, you do this for me, you can make your own crops, I will buy them from you, and then you can buy your freedom back from me, and then we can work out this entire system where we can have all these people here working in this village making money. That's not bad. It's not a bad deal. It could be much worse. Let's be realistic. It could be a whole lot worse. Now, obviously, they're still slaves, so you get to see a lot of the other masters like, bodyguards, I would call them. I wouldn't call them henchmen. Bodyguards is right. He hires help, obviously, to look after all the slaves because he can't do it himself, of course. We don't want the slaves to go out of line, like I said before. Otherwise, we're going to have problems. We can't have problems. So Einar and Thorfinn, they get bullied from time to time. It happens like in the arc, and that's just the perks of being a slave. You get bullied. Obviously, Einar is not happy with his station in life, being bullied by these people, not getting as much food for the amount of work that he's doing. And let's make it clear, they're doing a titanic amount of work. Again, it is crazy the things they have to do, moving logs by hand, and chopping all these trees down. They have to uproot the tree trunks, and they only have one old horse that's not really powerful, and it's just the two of them. So it's a hard job. It's a hard job. Now we're gonna find out. I don't want to go too heavy into spoilers. We're gonna find out more and more about all these characters and what they're doing, their station in life, including the Master. And another character who will be important later, he's not so much now, the Master's son. This is actually his second son. I will spoil you this part. The Master has two sons. The second son is the youngest, obviously, the one we met. The first son is going to come in a little bit later, maybe episode 3 to episode 4, possibly, if I'm remembering correctly. And we're going to find out their deal. Now, obviously, we're getting introduced to the second son. Forgive me because I don't remember his name. But he's obviously arrogant. He wants to be a warrior. This is his goal. He's going to find out very quickly what being a warrior means. Obviously, the kid is very young, and he doesn't understand what it actually means to be a warrior. There are going to be a lot of scenes of this character building. What does it mean to be a warrior? What does it mean to be a Viking? And it's gonna all culminate at the end of this arc to a spectacular event that I won't spoil. And it's gonna have something to do with all these people in this village, and it's gonna be nearly tragic, sort of tragic. But also it's gonna turn a new phase into Thorfinn and Einar's life together. That's where we're basically at in the story. So there's not too much to go through in this episode other than just getting introduced to more new characters. We're feeling out the Master, what he's about, characterizing him. We're not totally characterizing Thorfinn yet. You can see, obviously, like I said in the last review, Thorfinn he's a changed man. He is far different than he used to be again, right? Not a jaded kid anymore. He's been through some shit. Now, we're not totally privy to all of Thorfinn's thoughts right now. We're going to get into that later again in the arc, and it's just a lot of slow build-up of characterization of these new characters we're getting to know, and I like that. I think this arc or this episode did a really good job introducing us to our goal and what we're doing with our characters for the plot. Very nice. Now, animation. People are probably going to be very mad. I said it before again in the last episode. There's not a lot of fighting in this arc until the end. So if you're looking for really hyper dynamic animated scenes where characters are, using swords and fighting a lot and punching and doing all that, anime stuff, you're not going to get that for a while. So just, buckle down and, wait, be patient. Now, the animation in this episode is good. It's just very standard. So there's not that dynamic scenes that you can really work off of, but there is the backgrounds and the scenery coupled with the sound design and the sound production for each scene. Now, I think that was okay this episode. It did well. It was generally well. I liked the music. The animation fit very well into those scenes, as well as the music did as well. For when we get to those nice sunset views where we see our characters walking and talking and doing bullshitting basically. But it's all right. It's not bad. I liked it. Now, I have faith that that budget is going to increase once we get to that, the good stuff that people like, that meat. We really want to suck that meat, right? I want to bite into it. It will happen. I do believe it will happen. Trust me, it will. And it's going to be great when it does. OP is the same. Again, I said it last review. It's a good OP. I love it. That's basically the review, okay, guys? I like this episode. It's a good episode. We're really getting on track. The slow pacing, it seems like it's going to continue on the slow pacing, so I like that. But then it's going to ramp up, I believe. Maybe it'll even start to get a little bit faster. Maybe I'm underestimating just how slow they're gonna take this season. Because I'm still not sure whether or not this is a 12 episode series or 24. I don't see why it wouldn't be 24. There's so much content for Vinland Saga. They can get 2 arcs done. They can do this arc in 12 episodes, and then they can get to the next arc, which I won't spoil it, but it's also another good arc. But they can do that. They can do that for 24 episodes. It's not like season this it's different. This half of the manga is very different from the first half. Where the first half is you're basically all in England and then doing that stuff with England, Ass, Glad, and Canute. This is gonna be different. All right, so just get ready, buckle down. I like this episode. All right, I'm done ranting, you guys. Have a nice day. See ya.